Hey, hello, welcome. This is Kenlyn, and this is Soul Education for the Awakened Woman. Welcome to my Dharma talk today, Sunday, January 29th. And we're going to dig into Gene Key 19. It's super juicy. It's in the ring of Gaia, what it means to be a being on Earth, breaking through some really old patterns. That's what's going to happen here. That's my intention. Are you with me in that intention? Yes. Put yes in the chat if you're into that intention. Let's break through some old patterns. Welcome, Brittany. Just welcoming the sisters as we start, people finding me here. I go live on YouTube every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. It's like our church gathering, really. It's the goddess soul gathering and, a few good men, right? So this is our time in community to get together and to learn these wisdom teachings. They're living wisdom teachings. They came through the structure of human design and then human design into the gene keys. And then that's created so much collaboration, so much of living wisdom coming through different beings, seeing these teachings in different ways. And so I get to be a player in that because these teachings are alive for me. And what I love the most is that there's 3 frequencies. There's a shadow frequency that every single person in humanity is dealing with. And then there's the gift. The gift is the pathway. And what's the pathway to? The siddhi, S-I-D-D-H-I, siddhi. It's the divine essence. It's really 64 flavors of waking up to who and what we really are, dropping the sense of an individual self. And that's a high bar because we're playing the game of being an individual self here. And that's great. That's exactly how it should be. And we get to wake up. And as humanity evolves, really these wisdom teachings are for our evolution. We will start to notice that old worlds, old paradigms are just no longer useful. And we drop even the vocabulary of them. And we start to get a new vocabulary. And that's what the living wisdom traditions are all about. So welcome to those of you who are here. Yeah, put an emoji. Let me know how you're feeling. What's up for you today? I love this to be interactive because I believe we're co-creating a field. So today's teaching is going to hit at the heart of all of us, me included, all of us, every human. Oh, I love all the hearts and the loves. There's a lot of love out there. That's great. This is perfect. Thank you for sharing your emoji. So today, we're going to talk about codependency. Let's just get right to it. We're going to talk about codependency. That's the shadow frequency of 19. The gift is called sensitivity. I prefer the word attunement. I've been really feeling and playing with that attunement as the pathway to what? Sacrifice. So that's interesting because sacrifice is usually associated with a shadow frequency. And there's a distinction that's being made in this wisdom tradition about sacrifice. And I think it's an important one to make. And hopefully it'll all get woven into these teachings. Oh, I love all the hearts. Good. So it sounds like everyone is feeling good, open and heartful and expanded. I love that. So how many of you resonate as a multidimensional being? I'm going to just put that out there so that we can capture everyone. But then let's say specifically like a healer. Yes. We've got some yeses. A healer, a shaman, a walker between worlds, which is a shaman, a guide in the unknown, in the underworlds. How about an animal communicator? Yes, 1,000%. Awesome. Put what your flavor is inside of the chat, because let's get a sense of who is listening here, because the conversation gets created from your listening. So what kind of healer how do you describe yourself? And we don't need to limit you that way, but just put it animal communication, feminine embodiment. What kind of healer are you? Because this is really a deep message for healers, teachers, shaman, people who have been called sensitive people, empaths. Can you relate to that? Are you an empath? Chinese medicine and Celtic shamanism. Holy wow. Reiki master, acupuncturist. Yeah, you are like, I love it. Like everything. Feminine embodiment. I love that. Beautiful. Thank you, sisters. Creativity. Yeah, that's right. Robin is a total artist creatrix who heals through her art. Someday that mandala that you painted for me, Robin, will be behind me again. Yes, she's made up of several. We have several. Absolutely. That's right. Priestess, indigenous sisters. Yeah. You respect the word shaman, right? So you don't use that lightly. We could say walker between the worlds, right? That's a high priestess too. The one who is tapped into non-ordinary reality. We're really presencing this, and the reason why we're presencing these gifts, and some of you have turned these gifts into vocations, and the direction we're going on is this level of sensitivity, these spidey senses that we have been developing as we wake up. Do you remember the time before you were awake when you were numbed out and didn't know that you had these gifts? Or maybe you had them as a child and you were told they were wrong, and so you shoved them down, or you got freaked out at the gifts because something that you saw came true and you were like, whoa, that's way too much power. Put that aside. Yeah, that's happened to a lot of people. So Gene Key 19 is for you. And if you have a birthday now in the next couple of days or yesterday, your sun is lit up. That's the conscious sun is Gene Key 19 for you. And that means that your life work probably is this healer. You can check to see where 19 falls in your chart. If it's a defined gate or if it's an undefined gate, it's in the root center. And for me, my root is defined. So we're really talking like we're going to bring it in from the root, from the power center, because really codependency is a massive loss of power. And I got to tell you, sometimes we've made that bargain. We've made the bargain to lose our power. You know why? Because with power comes what? Anybody know? With power comes responsibility. And we honestly have a pretty jacked experience and sense of responsibility. In our culture, we understand the term responsibility as something that's even more codependent, right? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. Okay, so we've got a lot of empaths here. Yeah, empaths unite. Here we are. It's because we're waking up. And we can feel a lot. And that's our gift. And if we don't know how to use it, it's going to lead us into a massive loss of power and leakage of energy. And you know, when I've been in that place, I haven't wanted to give the gift. I haven't wanted to be sensitive. I've wanted to numb it out or shut it down because I didn't know how to work with it. So 19 is going to support us in working with that. I had a total example of this yesterday, and I think it's really important. Actually, it was this morning. Collapse time. It was this morning. I was walking outside, and some of you know I'm in Tulum, Mexico, and yesterday we had a great operation to rescue 6 puppies and their mama. And so I'm kind of like, I'm really dog centric. And so I'm like thinking about the dogs, and these 6 dogs, puppies plus their mama are good now. But then there's all these other dogs, right? Like the need is just, it keeps going. And I saw a sick puppy on my walk today. And then I saw a dog like drink out of a puddle, which was like dirty. It's like a puddle in the road. We had a lot of rain the other day. So it's just like dirty water. And, we've all watched the videos and why there's a clean water movement. And we know that dirty water produces all kinds of things. And so that's all going on in my mind. And if those of you who know me, I have that 18 to 58 channel, and I like the channel of perfection. And so what does that what happens in there? So I'm going to unpack that a little bit, because chances are you've had this exact experience. So I see this event, and inside of me evokes what? A feeling, a sensation. First, it starts with the sensation, right? If you really pack it down, it's a sensation, like a tightening in my heart or a drop in my stomach. So just feel that for yourself. When you see something that you've labeled as sad or shouldn't be, that's where I'm going with that. So I was in this sad moment. I was like, I had tears in my eyes as I was walking, and my mind goes into this place of what? Fixing. I love to fix. So my mind goes into the place of fixing. And this is, in my mind, this is a really codependent pattern that I have, that I'm sharing with you, so that if you've got something similar, you can relate and we can unpack this a little bit. And I caught myself, thank the goddess. I caught myself and I said, ooh, what's under that? This shouldn't be happening. This shouldn't be happening. We talked about that last week. We talked about the fantasy of the ideal, projecting it onto reality. And what happens then? We miss the present moment. So right then and there, I am arguing with reality. And I hear a lot of people say, yeah, but if I didn't do that, I just wouldn't act. That is not true. I invite you to investigate even deeper. So yesterday, in the operation to get these puppies out of a construction site and into a foster home, when I was reflecting, I noticed that I didn't have a should going on. I just responded. It was like the mama, I saw that she was a nursing mama. I could tell. And so I had it on my radar, those spidey senses, right? We all have them. And it's like this gene key is run by the hair on your arm. So you know how like you get chills? You're probably getting them now, just hearing me speak and point to it. These spidey senses. So long story short, because I wasn't even supposed to be in this town right now, I ended up finding her, and I didn't even find her. I ended up encountering her, and then I found the puppies, and I didn't have a thought like this shouldn't be happening. I just was observing, and then I made some connections, and the puppies are now in the thing. So it was really in the foster care. So it was really an example to me that it's a very slight come from place when I'm in this should thing, like something should be happening that's not happening. Something's wrong with the world. And so now I am in reaction to something that's wrong with the world. And this is the kind of stuff we talk about in my leadership incubator. So I'm just giving you a taste of like leadership content. Something is wrong with the world. Now I am dealing with my reaction to the world instead of being with the world, including the experience I'm having, which is the sensations and feelings I'm having about this dog drinking dirty water. And it could be a child drinking the dirty water, whatever. Just the concept, right? And when I was working with the woman who rescued these puppies, we had a lot of text exchange, and this woman is an activist who's been doing this for maybe like 15 years. And she was sharing from her come from place of being completely depleted. Because here's the cost of that. This is where sacrifice is a shadow. Here's the cost of that. When you're in that mechanism of trying to fix something that's wrong because God fucked it up, right? Then you are in a position of being responsible for the world, for other people, for other situations. And that is the burden of how we've understood responsibility. So from her point of view, she's tired, she's depleted, and she can tell you everything that's wrong with everything, right? Have you been around those people? Have you been one of those people? I mean, I've been in activism. I used to be a part of an organization to fight child sex trafficking. And I'm telling you, in that, I did a lot of spiritual work because I knew that if I ran that energy, I was going to get burned out. I was going to get angry. And I was going to become what I despise. So this is really truth medicine, and it's a high game. You cannot be playing this with your dual mind. If you're playing this with your dual mind, you're already arguing with me. You know, yeah, but. And that duality is going to keep you locked into a suffering position because on one hand, you're going to go into fantasy. You're going to fantasize about you being cause in the matter and changing everything. And you're not going to do anything. Or you're going to do something and you're going to get fucking burned out. Do you know what I'm saying? It's deep medicine, really. So the gift frequency, if we go into the gift, so codependency is like the world's not going to survive without me. That's one version. We could talk about it, codependency and relationships, how we need to have something happen in order to exist. So perhaps it's like I need to have the world messed up in order for me to have the identity of the fixer. That's codependent. And so Gene Key 19 asks us to really look at that. And then the city of sacrifice is, are you willing to sacrifice that? Are you willing to sacrifice that identity and join the whole? Because what that does is keeps me, when I'm in that frequency, I'm separate. And in an insidious way, I'm superior, right? So we get to look at our shadows that are running. So yeah, for a minute, when we first look at that at the first glance, it's like a punch in the gut. It's like, I thought I was being good. Yes, right, exactly. It was all about you. It was all about me trying to be good. And there's a whole other frequency we're completely missing, where love is in action. There's so many good comments. I'm going to read them in a second. So the gift, the pathway is the Gene Keys calls it sensitivity. And that is when we start to feel and we have the discernment to know what is ours and what is not ours. So part of codependency is I'm feeling you in suffering, and I'm going to do something about your suffering because you're not doing anything about your suffering. And that bothers me, or that gives me an opportunity to fix it, or I have too much pain that I have to be with. I have this situation happening in my family right now. There's a family member who's dealing with some severe addiction. And I went through the whole gamut, right, of trying to save her and then being pissed off that she's not doing the thing that I want her to do. And then just distancing myself. It's like such a dance to just figure out, like, what is the orientation in here? And so we get to come back to beingness, like being with the reality, because the reality for me is that she might die. And what I'm trying to save myself from is the experience of grief. So I'm not really even in relationship with her. I'm in a relationship with me not wanting to feel grief. Wow, pack that all the way down, and we start to get to the truth. And that truth isn't good or bad. It's just what's so. It's just part of the human mechanism. And so what I teach inside the leadership is that we're here having that experience, but I could actually step over here. Once I see this, if I'm just like living in this matrix, I can't change anything. There is no new possibility because I'm always coming from this place. But once I see that I'm coming from this place, I can step into something new. It's a new reality. It's from a space called nothing. And from there, I can be moved. I can live and move and have my being from that place. And yeah, the matrix seeps in because the matrix is part of the water in which we're swimming in at this moment. But when you and I wake up to the matrix, then we have a chance to move all of humanity because these are collective frequencies. It's just not you and me as individuals out there doing our thing. These are collective. And right now, the gene keys say between now and 2027, we get to make a huge leap. And we're going to make the huge leap when you and I make that huge leap. And so the city level is sacrifice. And it's not the codependent sacrifice where I hurt myself so that you can have something, so that I could have something from you, right? It's always a quid pro quo, no matter what. I'll sacrifice to give you whatever, an education, even though I hate doing what I'm doing, so that you owe me, right? So that you love me, so that you owe me, right? Get underneath of those motives. Just see them. They're not bad. They're just running. And if we can't see them, like I said, they run our lives. So it's not that kind of sacrifice. This gene key at the highest expression is saying, are you willing to die to that thing? To that mechanism, to the matrix? Are you willing to allow someone else to have their own experience of life, even when it is massively painful to you and your perception of what they're going through? And it's very humbling. It's very humbling because we stand in don't know mind. And that's the other sacrifice. Are you willing to sacrifice what you think you know? I think that she's in pain and I think she should not be in pain. And so I think she should do what I say because I think then she's going to get better. It's all freaking logical to me, right? And that's not that person's path. It's not that person's path. And how many of us have had to deal with that? Probably like every single one of you listening to this. In yourself, and you were the one everyone was trying to fix, or you were the one, you've got some identified patient inside your family dynamic. So gene key 19 is like, are you willing to die to that? Are you willing to sacrifice that so that you can step over into this new realm of possibility? And in that new realm, you're that pure channel. And I think there may have been like a storyline going on that, oh, if I'm in that pure channel, I won't feel like I won't feel bad. I'll feel bliss. I don't think so. I think we're here to feel the full range of emotions. And from what I can tell from the gene keys, like I don't have a defined solar plexus. So the language of feelings is not really at my disposal. So I am an amplifier, right? Those of us who have white, undefined in the solar plexus, we amplify other people. So for me, I love to be around people who are very hygienic with their emotions. That doesn't mean they don't feel. That just means they don't project them onto me, or they don't make a story, or they don't ask me to care for those. They just say, will you witness me experiencing this? Sometimes I'll ask, like, what do you want me to do? And they're like, nothing. And I'm like, really? Okay. You just want to tell me about it? Yep. Oh, okay. That helps a lot because I didn't know. So there's a language inside of the realm of emotions that humanity is actually moving into. And isn't it cool that some emotions are going to drop away? That's what Richard Rudd says. I don't know, but I think I can posit that. I can imagine that. And we step into newer levels of nuance as we become more sensitive. But with sensitivity or attunement, we become more attuned to reality, to ourselves, the experience we're having, which the experience we're having isn't even reality. It's just the experience we're having. And so if we become more neutral with our experience, and a piece of us is a witness of that experience, then we're allowing more experience, and we're actually evolving in our emotions. And the world takes on a new flavor. We put on new glasses. It just looks different. And how we move inside of that world is different. And so then we're not like magnifying our suffering. Oh, how bad is this? Oh my God, it's so bad. We're magnifying beacons of what is possible. And can you believe that just by magnifying that, you change things all around you? And then, one day you'll see the dog and you'll see the puppies and you'll make some calls and everything happens. It happens. It comes together. And it's not all roses and butterflies. We're here to work through the muck. So let me see if there's anything else. Oh, I do want to say about responsibility. Let's come full circle with that before I end. Actually, I'll look at some of the chat things too. So I really like the work of Landmark Education, if you don't know it. I love the work of Landmark and Werner Erhard in the understanding of the word responsibility. So it's the willingness to see that you are cause in the matter of your own life. It's not blame or shame or guilt or good or bad. It's outside of the realm of morality, and it's just a stand. It's just a stand you take. It's a grace that you give yourself as a human. And this is a lot of the work I do inside of formerly the Inner Circle and now the leadership training, because as the feminine, oftentimes we have disempowered ourselves. And so there's a huge movement to step into sovereignty. But when you step into sovereignty, you're stepping into being responsible. And then there's the breakdown, right? Because then the old world of responsibility has you burdened, has you caretaking, has you being responsible for everyone else. So this new definition of responsibility is a stand you take that you are causing the matter of your own life. It's not the truth. Like the distinction here that's really important, because we hear a lot in these worlds of manifesting that you create your own reality. That is a stand. That is a context that you're coming from. It's not the truth. It's not true. It's just not the truth. Like, let's just leave that off the table and stand in it as if this is the context I'm coming from. This is the game I'm playing. I'm going to play the game that I matter. I'm going to play the game that I cause and create my world. So as a matter of your stand, that is responsibility. And as I said, it's a grace that you give yourself, that you have a say in the matter of life. I adore that definition because it leaves you with a say. That's the whole notion when people shorthand and say we're co-creators. I think this is what they mean. Giving everyone the benefit of the doubt, right? Because we are God. Gene Key 19 says, religion was founded as a form of codependency, outside authority telling you what your truth is. And spiritual people, what do? Oh, we got the pendulum. We got like psychics, and I'm a person who uses intuitives. I use astrology and all the systems. And I've learned that I'm not outsourcing my truth to them. I'm hiring them to shine some lights inside. And so I can feel the resonance in my body of where I go next. That is a mature way of being with outside influence. That's a way we can be sovereign and still, take guidance, take feedback, receive it, not as truth, as feedback. And so I invite you, as wherever you are on this journey, and if you come into Razor's Edge, we're going to unpack it even more in our community call that's happening in 30 minutes. And if you're a member of the Evolving Sisters Network, this is part of what you get. So join us, because we're going to unpack this for each of us to have a breakthrough on the thing that has really held us back and kept us in some kind of a pattern or a leak of our energy and our power because of a misunderstanding of responsibility. And that can show up as guilt, right? Like, I can't really enjoy this because of that. It can show up as hiding and manipulating because I can't tell the truth, because if they really knew, all these ways that we contort and shift ourselves because we are not standing in our truth. And why is that? Because we can feel that somebody doesn't like it. We can feel that there's going to be consequences. And so we abdicate responsibility. We end up always doing what we want anyway. Let's be honest with ourselves. We just do it underhandedly. I know I've done that. And so part of rewiring those patterns is to catch myself doing that. Stop. See the matrix. And I laugh at it now. Step into the new realm. So what do I really want? What is really true here? What can I give? When I saw a dog this morning who was sick. And I've talked to the owner before, a really sweet man. And it's like there's a pain in knowing that I'm not going to give any more here. And that's just my statement for now. I could run into them tomorrow and have a conversation and things could open up, right? But I'm assessing my energy, assessing what's mine to do. And so I said a prayer, and part of my mind goes, that's not enough, right? Because I'm such a do-gooder, like, that's not enough. So I get to just be with that part of me that thinks that I'm not enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not enough. If I was enough, every fucking thing on this planet would be handled. How many know what I'm talking about? Yeah, and that is all inside the matrix. It's not true. It's just inside the matrix. And so when I catch it, I can stop and bless it and step into a new realm of possibility. So tell me, what did you hear today in this transmission? What did you hear for yourself in this transmission? Just type that into the chats, into the comments. And I'm just going to take a look. I know there's been some really awesome. Let's see, I get to put my glasses on because it's very small print here. And then oh yeah. I love that, Vanessa, a guide and a person who practices with the magic of the invisible. Yeah. Oh. Robin, oh my goodness, I can see where this is going. Yeah. Oh, I love that, Claudia. You came from your mama instinct. Yeah. Allison said she had this conversation with a client yesterday, arguing with life and the cost of sacrifice. Wow, isn't that cool that we're like vibing on the same conversation? You've been yesterday, this when Gene Key 19 got lit up by the sun, so you may have been feeling that. No good or bad, no judgment, just taking responsibility. Yeah, and another shift on that, Claudia, I love that you said that. Being responsible, not even taking it, just I am the field in which responsibility happens for my life, for who I be. Because what the Gene Keys is telling us is that ultimately we're going to drop the identity of a separate self. That's what all the cities, the 64 cities, are about. And imagine that someday this conversation is going to be totally moot. That there will be a humanity, there will be a consciousness as it plays out in whatever form, that I think there also will be a humanity, but in any form, that knows it's not, that doesn't even think in separation. And I know there are tribes and indigenous cultures that think in collective, but part of our evolution has been to separate from that and become individuals, become independent. That's important. We can't leap over. We had to go into the separate self. And then what happens is we go into the interdependence. And then when we go into the interdependence, we see that you are me and I am you. It's not just conceptual anymore. We literally live like that. That's why this gene key is called the future human being. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, self-care is vital to our survival. Saying no is okay. Yeah, there we go back to Gene Key 40. Gene Key 40 is the ability to say no, to the ability to know what is mine and what is not mine. And so what happens when I say no is that I'm dying to an identity called fixer, called responsible for everyone, responsible for the world. And I'm using that term responsible in that heavy burden responsible. Superior, like I have it and none of you have it. That's what I'm dying to when I say no. And I'm joining the family of things. It's so I can reconnect to the family of things, knowing that for someone, there's a yes for that dog. Did you hear that? For someone, there's a yes for that dog. And so I'm not carrying the only burden, right? I'm not carrying any burden. I'm one with life, the family of life, weaving in, supporting over here, receiving over here, yes over here, no over here. And when we're all doing that, all needs get met. Isn't that astounding? That's Gene Key 19. It's like, hey, people, all needs. There's a world in which all needs can get met. How about that? Right? So who do we get to be? What if our stand in responsibility is that all needs are met? That doesn't mean they're all met by me. They're all met. And that's my stand. Is that your stand? Who you be, as a matter of who you be and what your declaration is, as a matter of your stand, are you going to say that all needs are met? That's the world I'm going into. And I know it's going to be a bumpy ass road because I'm figuring out the do-gooder. I'm figuring out my own rackets around needing to play God, even though I am God, right? Like all these paradoxes that live in the truth. It's not dual. It's not either or. It's not like I'm an activist and a do-gooder or I'm like lazy. No, it's a paradox. It's where's your come from place? Who are you being? Do you catch your matrix? And are you willing to step outside of it? I could go on forever. I love this topic so much. This is why I created a whole 12-month program where we get to be in action and learning these distinctions and going deeper so that we can be free. That's the whole thing. Free. All right. Oh, this is what Jesus meant by the kingdom of God. Yes. God, goddess. I love that. What is mine and what is not mine? That seems to be a lot of resonance with that. Let's play with that today, and we'll play with that on the razor's edge. All right, sisters. I love you guys so much. It's been a pleasure to be in this conversation and curating and crowdsourcing this incredible wisdom tradition. So let's gather all the positive energy that we have generated here today, because we matter. And let's dedicate it to the merits. May all beings benefit from the merits of our efforts. Namaste. Yeah. I'll see you on the razor's edge starting at the top of the hour. And I'll see some of you next week, Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific. Lots of love.